Pepsi Postgame Show. Pepsi, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, here's Zach Wolchuk and Bryan Broaddus.
This is the ball game, 4th and 3. Snap is back. They blitz, and he throws deep left. He's got Lamb down the left side, and he can't hold it. Diving out at the 25, and he just couldn't put it right on him. And Lamb diving couldn't hold it.
24-20, Eagles defeat the Cowboys in the openers. The Cowboys fall to 0-1 on the year. Eagles improving to 1-0, as there was certainly a lot of positives to take from tonight, but it does feel like a missed opportunity. Yeah. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. Post-game show brought to you by Pepsi, made for Cowboys watching. And if you want to use the pros, use Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. Brian, we had the break with the lightning delay. Yeah. It was 24-20. Eagles got the ball after the Miles Sanders fumble, and the defense was able to make some stops. They forced a punt, and the Cowboys offense, unfortunately, did not reward them for those punts, and it ended there with their final chance turning the ball over on downs as Dak tried to find CeeDee Lamb, and unfortunately CeeDee had himself a pretty good game statistically, 7 for 110 on 13 targets, but 4 critical drops that I'm sure he will be the first one to tell you are completely unacceptable.
Yeah, it was kind of a tale of two, and you want to say two halves when you think about the weather delay and how Dallas's offense was really just ginning along pretty well. The running game was getting some traction. They were throwing the football well. The protection was good. And then all of a sudden, though, they came back from the weather delay, and give Matt Eberflus and his guys some credit for going in and taking advantage, eating the Crustables, getting in there and kind of figuring out some things and kind of holding Philadelphia in check there in that after the delay. And, giving their offense an opportunity, Dallas's offense a chance to do it. And, that's it's unfortunate because you're going to your best player to make those plays, and he had 3 drops in that game. We talk about the 7 other catches that he had, for over 100 yards, good for him. But it's those passes in those critical down and distances that you have to come up with. The last one he had on the 4th down, I love the play call. It's a switch with a pick, and I loved it. And, unfortunately, they didn't come up with it. They didn't come up with a play earlier down the middle of the field that was right in his hands, of another well-thrown ball. And then early in the game, he had a first down. They had a chance on 3rd down on a 3rd and long to convert, and he dropped that one as well. So, it's tonight was Schottenheimer likes to talk about championship opportunities. Mm-hmm. This would have been a nice step. We got 16 more weeks of these, but this would have been one that they could have been at springboard to get them into the season the right way. Yeah, there were some positives, with the way that the offensive line played, some of the running game stuff, the way the defense reacted after the weather delay. But, man, this one is going to go down as one that Dallas should have won. They should have won this football game. And, unfortunately, they didn't. That flight home is going to be long, and that film, when they look at it, yeah, there's going to be positive things, but your best player did not make plays. No. And you could talk about maybe the quarterback threw it a little long, but overall, you did not take advantage of this opportunity tonight, and you will fly home not victorious.
Yeah, I mean, the last 4th down throw, I guess you could say that's a tough catch to make, but it's one where when you're one of the top 3 to 5 wide receivers in the NFL, you're capable of making.
Yeah, that's it. The whole this offense throwing the football is based on the quarterback and these wide receivers. And obviously CeeDee Lamb is one of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL. And he has got to come up with those plays. You cannot be going across the middle and dropping the football on a 3rd down. You cannot, miss a ball down the middle of the field late in the game. That, the last one, I'll say tough chance. The other ones, not.
No, he's got to make those catches.
He's got to make those plays. And this team, I hope it's not one of those teams or one of these seasons again where the margin of error is just so thin
Yep.
But I think they're better than that. I don't think they're a margin of error team. I think that, to me, that unfortunately they just, man, they got a great adjustment from the defense, and the offense had been playing very, very well up until that point. But, man, if your best players are not making plays, whew, it's going to be a long year doing it that way.
No, absolutely. I mean, your defense, it certainly was ugly in that first half. But after that lightning delay, they did everything you needed them to do.
After the fumble. Look exactly what happened there. I mean, they again, you get the fumble, you give the punt, and then the end of the game.
Yep.
In Dallas, when Dallas is getting the ball, I'm looking at the drives. Every time the last scrimmage play, ball was starting at Dallas 26. They get all the way to Dallas 49, punt. They get to the Dallas 11. That 3 and out, or that 4 play drive when they started the ball on their own 11 and ended up on the 27. That was a really, really bad series. And then the one where they get the final one where they get on their own 18 and drive all the way to the 45.
Yeah.
I really thought I liked the play call. I think you had a couple other options, maybe to throw it underneath and get the first and kind of drive. But no, it's like I say, it's a switch route off a pick. And it had a chance. It had a chance. So, and I thought that he called a good game tonight. I really, really do. I was encouraged by what I was seeing with the motions and condensed formations and the way they were able to run the ball. And, I'm not into what is it called when you get the
moral victory?
The moral victory. Yeah. I'm not into that. They had a chance to win this football game tonight. They had a chance to go to Philadelphia on banner night and win this thing.
They did.
They at times they were the better football team.
Absolutely. And that's why, that's the difference. When you're playing against a Super Bowl champion team, you cannot make those mistakes.
No.
You can't fumble in the red zone like they did.
Right.
And you can't have your best player have critical drops in the game on third downs to be able to move the chains. Those are the differences between winning and losing against a quality opponent. Yep. And your defense was able to get it together and make enough stops. Offensively, they didn't fulfill their end of the bargain. And it's not all on the quarterback, of course. CeeDee Lamb needs to make those plays, and he will take ownership of that as well. I also thought you saw what George Pickens was able to do, an outstanding catch to move the chains on the final drives. George only had 4 targets tonight.
See, that's the thing that we were talking about is find the scrub. And to me, my whole game plan would be to find where Adoree Jackson was. Every time I saw number 8, and Zach, you even talked about this. Third down and the cover, he's playing off coverage. Right. Just take it. Take it right there. Take it again. Make them have to do something different. But you're throwing the ball at Mitchell. You're throwing the ball on the side. Why? Why are you doing those things? I just, to me, that part of it was, I felt like that they had a good plan as far as attacking him. I would have finished it off with him, though, at the end of that game.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate where, and you mentioned it with these drives. I mean, 6 plays, 23 yards. They were able to run the ball. You had a big 14-yard completion to CD, but otherwise it was 3-yard run. You had the negative 3-yard pass trying to get a screen play to CeeDee Lamb. Then an incompletion, you got a punt.
That was maybe the worst series of the night. It was terrible.
Yeah. Then they came out the next drive. You started off with the first down pass to CeeDee Lamb, and then it was just, okay, here's a negative 2-yard loss to Williams. Here's a 2-yard pass to Turpin. Here's a 3-yard pass trying to get it to Javonte Williams, and now you got a punt. And then, of course, it was the downs. But when the game's hanging in the balance, unfortunately, your offense wasn't able to come together and play their best.
No, absolutely. And you needed your best player to show up. I thought the offensive line hung in there tonight. I think Philadelphia's got some issues with their pass rush. They had to start bringing a 5th rusher, which is something that Vic Fangio does not want to do. So I like a tip of the cap there for sure.
And Dak's one of the best quarterbacks in the league when it comes to throwing against the blitz. So much to get into. We got a little time to do it after the extended break that we have. 877-881-1053, the number to call, the number to text, 877-881-1053. After the Cowboys lose in Philly in the season opener, you're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Crown Royal and the Dallas Cowboys are...
Dallas Cowboys. Brought to you by
AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Sanders stays at running back. Receiver Tolbert in motion to the right. And Prescott gave it to Sanders, and the ball came out. It's picked up by the Eagles. And Quinyon Mitchell recovered it at the 25-yard line.
Certainly a massive turning point in the game as the Cowboys fumbled after what was a great drive that they were on that had included a 49-yard run from Miles Sanders, and unfortunately Sanders puts it on the ground there. I had referenced a stat, courtesy of ESPN Insights and our friend Ed Werder, but Miles Sanders, that was his 9th career lost fumble. That's the 7th most since he debuted in 2019. Mm-hmm. 8 of those were lost on rushing attempts, tied for 4th most in that span, and it did seem as though it was Javonte Williams once they returned after that drive and after all the lightning delay. He was the one that really, it looked like he should be the bell cow. Like he was the hot hand tonight.
Sure.
And Miles did have that great run. But, I mean, the fumble, Jake Ferguson not being able to catch what could have been a touchdown also prior to the fumble happening, and he gets hit. And then that's a defenseless receiver penalty, so he ends up being able to move the chains there, and then the fumble happened next, then the CeeDee drops. Just a bummer. Certainly a lot of positives to take from tonight in terms of the way they ran the ball, the offensive line played. Brian Schottenheimer had him ready to go. The defense made corrections, but 24-20, Cowboys fall to the Eagles, Brian.
Yeah, I've said this earlier. If you're new, coming back to the program here for the Post, at times you were the better team tonight. There were moments where you were the better football team, and unfortunately, when you brought this up about Dak and hey, here's an opportunity, go make a throw, go find a way to win this game, go steal it, go take it from them, and you played well, you played really, really well at times, and then you had 2 series where you were just awful. And, and unfortunately for the Cowboys, they came up on the short end. But I'm not going to sit there and act like, I'm encouraged by this and that. At times, again, you were the better team. Mm-hmm. You had a chance to win this football game, and I hope you don't look back on it and say, damn, we could have used that one. That's one we could have used, because I just feel like, though, that Schottenheimer had him ready to play. Defense struggled right off the jump. Kind of figured out things. The weather delay really helped them, but offensively, you just couldn't sustain the momentum that you had built up earlier in the football game. But the plays that you needed to make, you were throwing to your best player, and he was not able to come up with them.
Zach Wolchuk alongside Bryan Broaddus, brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything here on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys. You're basically packing 3 hours into an hour and a half. So we'll hit the phones, but we need you to be quick, please, to try and get through as many as we can. We start with our buddy Big Jim. Jim, what's up, man? How are you?
Well, fellas, I tell you what, I part of me thought this could get away from us tonight going into the game, but I did listen to Broaddus during the week. Broaddus, he made such logical arguments as to why these guys could play with them. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be negative. I think in my mind, I think we're a little bit better team than I thought we was going to be. So you're right. We were the better team for a little while out there on the field, and just 9 times out of 10, you go to Lamb, you think he's going to make some catches, but he's a little off tonight. But look, there's going to be a lot of teams that lose this weekend. Good teams that are going to lose this weekend. We got to get buckled up and ready to take on the Giants. Yeah. And guess what, fellas? We'll get these guys back in Dallas before too long. And I think this is very impressed with Schottenheimer. Like the play call, like the play mix. Hey, Saquon Barkley didn't get over 60 yards rushing. Yeah. I think that's pretty good too. So I think you got to take care. Hey, our guy Houston, I think he showed up tonight absolutely. Too. We learned some things about our players tonight and who we can count on. So look, I sure as heck would have loved to win, but dadgummit, I think we got a decent ball team, and we might be able to put some wins together this year, fellas. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the joy, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much, Big Jim. Yeah, I mean, they were able to hold Barkley 18 carries, 60 yards, kept him under 3.5 yards a carry. He did have the touchdown. Very impressive, the run defense there in the fourth quarter. Got to give Flus and company a lot of credit. I mean, Solomon Thomas, I thought, stood out.
Yeah.
Kenny Clark also was making some plays. Marshawn Nealon, really, really good as well. All right, we'll hear from Jerry Jones. We'll hear from Brian Schottenheimer. More of your calls and texts. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Bell Nunley has been committed to serving their clients for over 4 decades. This Dallas-based full-service...
official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
Eagles are second down and goal at the 8. Hurts in the gun. Barkley on his right. Long count, snap back. Barkley goes out in the pattern. Hurts looks right, nothing there. Little pressure, and again there's no edge player on the left side. He runs to the 5, dives to the pylon. Touchdown, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts picked up a career-high 5 first downs on 9 scrambles tonight, including the game-clinching third down conversion with 1:45 remaining in the game. He also scored both of his touchdowns, as you heard there from the voice of your Cowboys, Brad Sham, on that scramble. His leg, certainly a big difference maker tonight. As we welcome in the voice of your Cowboys, Brad Sham, 24-20 Eagles with the win over the Cowboys. Zach Wolchuk, Bryan Broaddus. Brad, what were your big takeaways, that final offensive series tonight, as the Cowboys just unable to come back and be able to get a victory here?
Yeah, well, obviously, Lamb's going to want to catch this. One of those. The last one was really a tough catch, but the post was one that he will be the first one to tell you. I know him. He'll say that's on me. I have to make that catch. Had they made that catch, who knows? I mean, they had a lot of momentum. They had some things going. They had some things working. But again, as I said during the broadcast, when they got the ball back, if I told you before the game that with 3 minutes to play, they are going to have the ball with a chance to drive and win, I think most people listening to our voices right now would have said, yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I picked them to win 27-24. I was kind of hoping they'd get that touchdown.
Oh, did you really?
You're almost right on.
I did. I picked them to win 27-24. Is what I did. Brad, at times, Dallas was a better team tonight.
Well, at times, yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of things the Eagles do that other – nobody. Next time they play them, I think they'll be a little better prepared for the quarterback running. Nobody else does that. Barkley obviously does some things that the other backs cannot do, but I was impressed, even defensively, thought they were very aggressive, and the way they were still tackling and coming to the ball the last couple of possessions, where they were able to get the ball back. I mean, I think that's a plus for them. And what they were able to do when they had the ball in the first half, that was a big deal for a team that we just hadn't seen. And then again, the Lamb catch that he didn't make, and then what if Sanders doesn't fumble, or what if the guy doesn't pull it away from him? Because then they never did get anything going in the second half. But there were, Brian's right. There were a lot of things they did well. You just know that they're going to build on that, because you get better as the season goes along. And so there's a lot to like.
What are some of the big takeaway building blocks that you're excited for optimistically? The running game, the offensive line, Dak's performance after coming back from the injury for the first time. We got to see him against another team.
Yeah, all of those things. I'm very, Brian and I say this, Zach, as you know, every single week. I can't wait to watch the tape.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I may not watch it tomorrow. I don't know, because we'll get back about 5 a.m. But I don't have to. But I'm very interested to watch it, see if the guys who I thought played well on the offensive line actually did, and see what things there were available. Very impressed with Williams. I'm hopeful that, and I was saying to my spotter Jake Goldberg as we were walking down from the press box, the inactive list will not be the same every week, because it'll change according to what you need versus the opponent. And I think that Jaden Blue has some stuff that can help, give him a spark. So he won't be inactive every week. And I'm interested to see that. But the improvement that they are able to do from week 1 to week 2 will be fascinating. But I'm very interested, and Brian, I know you are too, to see how those linemen played actually on both sides of the ball, the linebackers. Very interested to watch that on tape.
Yeah, I think too. I was impressed with Schottenheimer's calling the way he managed the game tonight. I thought he managed the game overall very, very well too. And I'm talking about from an offense and defensive standpoint and having to deal with the weather delay and all that. I think the first time out of the box, they only had the one penalty where they had 12 guys on the field, kind of a first game things that you deal with there. But I thought overall he managed the game well.
I mean, I don't know what they have, 4 penalties. The Eagles had way more than that, and a lot of theirs were really egregious.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right, and that's a test for him that he passed, and I think it'll be easy for them to get ready to play the Giants in a week.
We look forward to it, Brad. Safe travels, get some sleep, and enjoy those Uncrustables, my friend.
Hey, and Broaddus, I'm going to bring you some.
I'm not going to eat them because they're 8,000 calories.
They're not 8,000 calories.
Brad, I'm telling you, you're looking great. You don't need to eat the Crustables. They're 8,000 calories. They're going to get you.
I'm not going to eat like 6 a day, but sometimes if you're not able to get a meal and you need something to energize you, let me just tell you, those Uncrustables have a lot going for them.
They do. They
Enjoy them, sir. Thank you so much.
If I say this often enough, will they hear me and send me some free ones?
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Maybe it works for Babe when it comes to the chicken nuggets. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know. Have a good night, boys.
You too. There he goes. The voice of your Cowboys, the great Brad Sham, with us here in the official postgame show of your Cowboys, 24-20. The Cowboys falling to the Eagles, brought to you by Blockchain. Are you ready to learn a new game and invest like the pros? Don't worry. Even the pros were rookies in crypto once. Blockchain.com makes buying, selling, and trading crypto easy. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. All right, post-game show rolls on. We'll hear from Jerry Jones, Brian Schottenheimer, your calls and texts. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
On game day, Cowboys fans deserve Pepsi. Ford, your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
56 seconds in the half. They will run a draw to Barkley up the middle. Broke a tackle, broke 2 tackles. Touchdown, Barkley.
Seeing a lot about the missed holding calls. I mean, look, there was a ton, certainly, but the Cowboys missing some opportunities. A drop touchdown.
Cowboys got away with few, too.
I'm sure they did. You know, it goes both ways. I can totally get the frustration there. The Sam Williams call at the end of the game. I thought there was one on Donovan Ezeraku that resulted in a third down conversion for them in the first half. I mean, it happens, but 9 penalties for the Eagles, just 4 for the Cowboys. Cowboys actually played more discipline.
Yeah, you didn't get screwed by the refs on this one.
I didn't think so either.
No.
Certainly, it's disappointing because, I mean, you didn't have to play against Jalen Carter, who's the Eagles' best defensive player. Then Landon Dickerson goes down, and that made a massive difference to their offensive line.
You were not going to catch this team any. Well, we'll see what happens the next time around, but yeah, to lose Landon Dickerson and then also like their best defensive player, that should have been better for you. You know, you had some opportunities, you just didn't get to, just kind of the story of the game. Didn't finish very well.
Didn't finish, and you know, hey, you want to become a good team, you got to find a way to make some of those plays. 877-881-1053, the number of the text number to call. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. But let's pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
You're turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD-FM and HD1, Dallas-Fort Worth.
An Odyssey sports station.
All right, your owner and general manager Jerry Jones catching up with the media following a disappointing Cowboys season opening loss in Filthy.
They got better, the defense adjusted, but I was really proud of that offensive line. They did some great things out there, but we certainly had plays, left them there, but I'm proud of this bunch. We get this kind of effort and we get this kind of level of play from, let's say, the younger ones or the second-year guys and what have you. We got a chance to be a good team.
Thoughts on what Schottenheimer did with this offense in game one?
I'm so impressed with him. I just makes me sick that he didn't win this game. And I know what it meant to him. We were all riding with him. We all feel it. He had them ready to play. And he had them ready to play. He was right. He saved up a few things, but he did have them really ready to play. If this team will continue because of in my mind, the skill level and the age level, will continue to improve. We got better in the second half on defense. We did that. And we just left some plays out there that if we made them, I thought Dak may have played one of the best games I've ever seen him play. And so we had the hands and we had the ball in the hands of our key guys. I just can't say enough about this effort. And I give Brian and I give his staff all the credit in the world and the leadership. And the guys that had a chance to make some plays, they'll make those plays. They will make those plays. They're good players, and they'll make those plays. We'll bring home some victories.
Were you shocked about CeeDee Lamb not making a couple of those plays that he almost always makes?
Well, because it is CeeDee, you know how often and how much he can do. And certainly we can get the ball in that direction. We get the ball in that direction and playing with that kind of effort, we're going to win a lot of games.
You called Brian Schottenheimer a risk, when you hired him. Did you need to see some things in this first impression to kind of validate your decision-making?
Well, I don't know how you even qualify need to see something. Boy, he had this team ready to play. And he had them prepared. He had them prepared on all sides of the ball. And he had them mentally ready to play. And I'm just sorry that when it got right down to it and we need to make those plays, we didn't get them made. But we all know we played a good team out there tonight. We played them at their home, hostile environment. Brian's first chance to really be a head coach and stepped out there. And in my mind, he didn't let his team down.
Do you think
they didn't let him down either, in my view?
Do you leave here encouraged in some respects? Do you leave here encouraged?
Very encouraged. I am encouraged, and I'm encouraged by the meat on the bone, not my normal optimism. These guys played hard, they played good, they played consistently. I'm not so sure we had one pre-snap penalty in offense. That's so far different, and this time in our past, it's unbelievable. That's coaching. That's emphasis. And so I'm really proud for Bryan. I know that no one wants to think that there's not one way to go, and that's end up on the top end of the score. But I'm proud of him, and I know everybody involved in his life should be proud of him. He had us ready to play.
He did. I think that was a pretty good point there by Jerry in terms of the pre-snap penalties.
12 men on the field, right?
On defense, yeah. But offensively, with all the motion that they did, that is something that I think that is discipline, and that is coaching, and everybody kind of understanding the assignment. But gosh, as we're watching some of the drops from CeeDee in that fourth quarter,
awful.
I mean,
I know
it is. It's frustrating.
Listen, the last one was a tough chance. You got to go make that play, but the other ones that he had, I mean, game on the line. The game on the line. You're one of the best top 3-4 receivers in the National Football League. You have got to concentrate, and you've got to catch those balls. That quarterback was standing in the middle of the pocket, the one he threw down the middle of that field, and you hit right in your hands, and you dropped. I mean, the protection was where it needed to be. The quarterback hung in there, and you don't get that many chances to make throws like that. And in that critical time of the game, and I know the guy had 7 catches and he's CeeDee Lamb and all that, but man, you are relied on to make plays. You got to make those plays. You cannot let your team and your teammates down when everybody does their job and you don't do yours.
No, what's the buzzword is the standard is the standard. Yeah. And we're always going to be very critical of Dak Prescott when he doesn't make plays in those moments. He put the ball in his number one receiver's hands with a chance to make the play and really couldn't have thrown it any better.
I don't think he could have thrown it any better under the duress that he was standing in the middle of the pocket having to endure.
And then the other one earlier hits him right in the helmet. I mean, and Brad's right. CeeDee, as we know him, I mean, he's the first one that's going to accept responsibility. But gosh, we're going to go back and watch this one. They're going to watch it and think, oh, man, we left this play on the field, that play on the field. I hope it just doesn't come back to bite them in the rear when it's week 17 and they're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and this is a game that I told Brad, and I believe this. I think there were times where Dallas was the better team tonight, but they just didn't close like the better team.
You just cheered for America's team on the field. Now see them on the reels. Cowboys-themed casino games developed by Aristocrat, now at a casino near you. Aristocrat, a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Do you have a gambling problem? Please contact 1-800-GAMBLER for 21 or over. All right, we'll hear from Brian Schottenheimer. We'll get back to your calls and text. Dallas Cowboys football. We'll continue in a moment.
Don't put off getting your oil changed, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. They're so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. That means you won't even have time to show off your best touchdown.
Convenience. Call 972-712-7200 to reserve your suite.
Snap is back. He looks to his right. He looks to his left. He runs to his right. Foot in the ground. Wide open lane. Touchdown, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, one of 2 rushing touchdowns. All of the Eagles' touchdowns tonight coming on the ground. 2 from Hurts, 1 from Barkley. But that Cowboys run defense did do a much better job in the fourth quarter. They were able to get 3 straight stops, made some solid adjustments, 24-20. Eagles, though, with the win, as the Cowboys going to look back and say, what if? Just a play here, a play there, they could have been victorious. But no moral victories in the National Football League, Brian.
No, I don't think so. I know everybody's probably feeling pretty good about, everybody felt like that Dallas was probably going to get blown out of this game and all that. But if you really, really did the deep dive of it and you started studying it, and you're saying, okay, they match up pretty well here, they match up pretty well there. There was a path to win this game, and you kind of saw the path. Offensively, they were able to do some things, have some success. Defense was not good initially. They kind of figured some things out at the break. They did a much better job of playing on Philadelphia's side of the ball. They were getting guys upfield. There was better contain. I thought the secondary was really, really good in this game with the way that they covered on the back.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of time where Hurts was having to kind of run around and find space to be able to make a throw. And then after the weather delay, there were several times him moving and throwing the ball out of bounds.
Devontae Smith, 3 catches for 16 yards. A.J. Brown was not targeted until the final drive of the game.
Yeah, 1 catch. You can't tell me going in this football game if you said those 2 guys that had just 4 catches for minimal yards.
I said the Cowboys should have won, or Barkley's run for 200 yards, which didn't happen.
Didn't happen either. They're going to look back at this game as one that they absolutely should have won.
24-20.
They didn't.
Didn't get it done. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. Let's hear from your head coach of the Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer.
But that's how a division game should feel, man. We had good moments. They had good moments. They do what they do. They bleed the clock on you, and they limit your opportunities. I think they had the ball for almost 35 minutes, and we got to make plays when they're there. We got to get guys on the ground and things like that. Throw and catch a little bit better, and we had our chances.
CeeDee Lamb, looked like you had maybe 3 or 4 drops in this ball game. What's your thoughts on just not finishing plays?
Don't worry about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee's going to be fine. What a great player. Again, this was a team defeat, and we own that. We understand where we can go as a football team. We understand. I love the competition. I thought guys competed their butts off. I thought that was great. But we're all about winning, and we didn't win tonight, and so therefore it's not good enough.
Did the delay kind of mess you guys up a little bit?
No excuses. Nope, same for both teams.
Quite a still deal with us Cowboys. Can you give us your thoughts on the spitting before the game and what you saw from Jalen and Dak? And it looked like Dak spit first and then he spit on Dak.
Yeah, Clarence, I honestly, I didn't see it. I don't know. All I know is that a great player got ejected. And again, I don't know. I'll look into it, but I do not know.
How did you think that affected your game plan at all, and how you attack the defense, and how you think that not having Carter affected?
No, I mean, he's a great player. It'd be like, you lose a great player on either side of the ball. It affects them, and they're a little bit thin when you do that, and that's why, unfortunately, we weren't able to sustain the ball enough because, they were down a defensive lineman, and a great defensive lineman at that. But, again, like I said, we'll look into it and see what happened.
Brian, what did you do differently in the second half, certainly to slow them down? It seemed like you started blitzing more, get them off the field. Can you talk about the changes you made defensively?
Yeah, we did. I thought Flus and the guys did a great job. Number one, we tackled better. We fit the gaps better. We started using some more blitzes, some more movements, things like that. But I think we just settled in. I really do. I think we settled in, and the quarterback's really big and athletic, and our rush lane discipline in the first half wasn't very good. He got out a few times. I thought we did a better job of containing him in the second half. But again, we had chances out there, and there's no moral victories for us. We had a chance to win that game and weren't able to do it, and it'll sting.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN, you said you know where this team can go. Where do you believe this team can go after tonight?
I still think we can win a Super Bowl. That's the goal, Todd. It's not going to change. I mean, we got the right type of guys. We got good players. Again, like I said, you saw what we're capable of in the first half. offensively. You saw what we're capable of in the second half defensively. We just got to put the game together in a more complementary fashion because that's what we're capable of. And, we lost the turnover battle. That affects some things, right? We lost 1-0, and, we're all about the ball, and we got to protect it better and got to try to create some takeaways on defense.
What do you think of Dak's ability to move around and create some time and make some plays out?
Yeah, I thought Dak played really well. Limited opportunities just because we didn't have that many ops with the 26 minutes or whatever it was time of possession, but I thought Dak threw the ball really well and played well.
Yeah.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Challenge for your first game is that rain delay. How were you able to keep the guys into it, and overall, how do you think they responded coming out of it?
I think they were great. I mean, I think the defense did great. It's not our first rain delay. We've been through it, Pittsburgh last year, so similar type thing. The league did a great job communicating to us, hey, what time we think we're going to go out, and we have a plan in place for that. Those are things you plan on, but again, no excuses. We just got to find a way to finish that game.
Love it. No excuses from Brian Schottenheimer there after a 24-20 loss. Cowboys, the Eagles. I'm with you, man.
They should have won that game.
They should have.
Yeah, I mean, they played well enough. They had Philadelphia on the ropes a couple different times, and fortunately for them, I mean, they've got to go make plays. That's the whole thing. If you're going to go and take down the defending Super Bowl champs on banner night, you got to go in there and make plays. And for the most part, they did. But when they really, 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 really needed one, they didn't come up with it. No moral victories here. You lost and the coach likes to talk about championship opportunities. That was a championship opportunity for you that ultimately did not get completed.
Tape from the Locker Room brought to you by the all-new National Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington brings the stories of America's greatest heroes to life through virtual experience in exciting interactive technology. Plan your visit today at mohmuseum.org. All right, we'll hear from Dak Prescott, what happened with the spit, and more. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Miller Lite, the legendary light beer.
Islands of the Bahamas. It's not one island, it's a lifetime of them. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Side the one, lifting motion right to left, handoff, Javonte Williams, bang at left guard, and the Cowboys score the first touchdown of the season.
There you have it. There's our drive of the game. Opening drive, 6 plays, 53 yards in 3 minutes and 11 seconds, culminating in Javonte Williams' first rushing touchdown. Javonte Williams becoming the first Cowboy to score a touchdown in his first game since Ezekiel Elliott in 2016.
How about that?
That's pretty amazing. We got to go back to Zeke in 16. Maybe this offensive line one day can get to be as good as that line was. They certainly showed some promise. Zach Wolchuk alongside Bryan Broaddus, the official postgame show of your Cowboys, 24-20. Yeah, very frustrating loss for the Cowboys as they fall to 0-1. Eagles improving to 1-0. Feels like one that they let slip away. Let's take a couple of your calls real quick while we can. It is certainly an abbreviated postgame. We did have that hour-long delay, so if these are short segments, just bear with us. We apologize. Hopefully we get back to normal after the Giants game. Let's head out to New Mexico. We got our buddy Charlie, who's been waiting patiently. What's going on, Charlie? How are you?
Hey, guys, I'll tell you this. I was pleased with this from a standpoint of I finally saw this team make adjustments at halftime, which they had not done in the years past. I've also saw them where they didn't have double-digit penalties, and I saw a play caller go to his key players in a critical part of the game, which before we would run these little wheel routes, go to Tolbert or somebody like that. So I give Schottenheimer a B+, A- on this game. I'll tell you that. But the thing that bothered me, and I told my buddy when we were sitting there watching the game, Sanders just ran a 50-yard sprint. They get down on the goal line. I told my buddy, this guy has a problem fumbling. That's why they didn't sign him in Philadelphia back.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to give him a solid. I hope he does. And bam, before I could get it out of my mouth, he fumbled it. I think they should have put Williams in right then because this guy was tired. He just ran a 50-yard sprint. He has a history of fumbling, and that really bothered me. But everybody's saying, well, CeeDee Lamb's going to admit this is on him. Well, it is on him. Who else are you going to blame it on except maybe Ferguson had a ball that he should have caught? But other than that, I was pleased with the way this coaching staff ran this football game.
Appreciate the call, Charlie, and I'm with you. I think we were wondering why wasn't, especially after Williams had 2 touchdowns inside the 10-yard line there. But hey, you know, hindsight's 20/20. It always is, and maybe moving forward, that's a learning experience, and the coaching staff would put Javonte Williams back out there. But that's a huge fumble, and certainly was a huge play in the game. The defense rallied, got some stops, but the offense never looked quite as good as they did again after that drive. All right, we'll hear from Dak Prescott. We'll get back to more of your calls and texts. Appreciate everybody bearing with us tonight. 877-881-1053. A disappointing but promising Cowboys loss to the Eagles, 24-20. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Cowboys. Experience the Kohler difference firsthand at either the Kohler store in Dallas or in Plano, and visit Kohler.com now.
2nd and 10, Prescott right to left at his own 34. There's a little handoff to Miles Sanders. Coming left, he broke free to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 25, to the 20, to the 10. Former Eagle Miles Sanders is run down from behind by the Pro Bowl All-Pro linebacker Zach Bond, and nobody likes that better than Miles Sanders.
Getting some revenge against his former team. Unfortunately, he did put that one on the ground a couple plays later, but
gave it right back to him.
Biggest play of the game, 49-yarder for the Cowboys on offense. That is our What a Play of the Game, brought to you by Whataburger and the Salvation Army, doing the most good. Let's hear from Dak Prescott, his first game back since ripping that hammy off the bone last year, and Dak played pretty good ball tonight. Here was Dak postgame.
Yeah, I probably spit 1,000 times throughout the game. I mean, especially game day, maybe even in general, and something I guess I'm not proud of. But in that case, he was trolling, I guess you could say, trying to mess with Tyler Booker. I was just looking at him. I was right here by the two linemen, and guess I needed to spit, and I wasn't going to spit on my lineman, and I just spit ahead. But I would say he was back there where Jory was in that sense, and he asked, or he goes, "You trying to spit on me?" And at that point, I mean, I felt like he was insulting me. Like I wouldn't spit on somebody. I'm damn sure not trying to spit on you. Like, we're about to play a game. I'm wondering why you're trying to mess with the rookie. And so when I stepped through, I actually say the words like, "What the hell would I? Excuse me, but I'm probably even more colorful. What would I need to spit on you for?" And he just spit on me in that moment, and it was more of a surprise than anything. Refs obviously saw it through the flag. I was like, hell yeah, we get 15 yards to start the game off. Didn't realize he was getting ejected. Unfortunate that he did. Hell of a player. Changed our plan and our blocking scheme, as I've told you all right before the week, that we're going to protect against him. So helped in that manner, but I don't wish for anybody to get out of the game. I'm sure he probably regrets that to some extent. I'm pretty sure he knows I didn't try to spit on him or wasn't even aiming to spit on him. So something that's probably going to get a lot of coverage and a lot of attention that feel sorry for him in the sense of yeah, I mean, I know how excited each and every one of us are, right, to kick off the season and the season opener, and hell of a player like that doesn't even get a chance in the first play. Yeah, unfortunate circumstances.
How did you keep your composure in that situation? We saw you just motion to the ref,
Yeah, I was more surprised. I mean, honestly, it hit me more on my shirt of my collar, I guess, than straight skin, and thankfully. But yeah, I was just more surprised. I mean, like I said, I was insulted that he even thought I tried to spit on him. So for him to react and spit, I'm sure it's not something he's proud of.
Clarence Hill, Dallas Cowboys. Can you talk about your relationship with CeeDee Lamb? You talked about the game, certainly had a lot of drops. You took ownership of those drops. You just talked about your conversation with him and how that went.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him after the series, after one of them or so, obviously right there at the end of the game. And, yeah, in the locker room, I mean, there wasn't a big, long talk need to have as he took ownership and accountability, right, to you guys, I'm sure. He shut me up in the same sense of, taking accountability. And after the game, going over to him, and he's just doing this. And, it's just more of like that wasn't just those plays. There's throws out there that I want back, but it's game one. And he's a guy that makes those plays. He's going to make those plays. We're not going to get down on him. We're not going to lose confidence by any means. And he will make those plays. So, yep.
No more pictures, but you take any solace in how you guys came out and played and performed the game?
Yeah, for sure. With all the change, new head coach, group went out there, physical as hell, together. It was fun every way through. Obviously, we thought we had a chance. We had opportunities. Defense is trying to blame themselves in the first half, and offense is going to blame themselves in the second half. So a lot of accountability was taken in the locker room, but we're definitely process-oriented. And as Shotty said, if we continue to compete and play physical like that, we're going to be proud of the team that we can put together each and every week. So it's 1 of 17, and right, I didn't think we were going to go undefeated. So sucks. Wanted to get the first one, obviously, especially against a good team, a rival. Division, but we got to move on, and we got another division game next week. So
there is Dak Prescott after the 24-20 Cowboys loss to the Eagles. Said he's probably like 1,000 times a game, and he was pretty
offended that Jalen Carter would think that he was spitting on him.
I think he drew him into a spit gate.
I loved what Dak did there, if that was the case. Jalen Carter, after the game, also took full responsibility, apologized to his teammates and the fan said it won't happen again. But that was a pretty wild way to start the game there.
Crazy.
Brian.
Injury and then that going on.
Man.
You couldn't have asked for a better start to a game for the Cowboys offensively. Defensively, they did some things to get back in that football game. It looked like that each team was going to score every time they had the ball, but give both defenses some credit for the way they played there to kind of keep them out of the end zones.
Yeah, your 4 offensive drives for the Cowboys in the first half: touchdown, field goal, field goal.
Yeah.
They scored every single time they got it.
And that fumble was that ended on the Philadelphia 11. That thing, that's at least
looks like they were going in for
another one. Yeah,
at least a field goal, probably a touchdown.
You just can't. I mean, you're playing the defending world champs. I mean, you cannot put the ball on the ground there. You just can't. And then that's unfortunate. There's going to be guys trying to make plays and stuff, but man, you cannot do that when you're trying to win these games.
No, it's
they lose the turnover about a 1-0, and
that's the game.
That's the game right there.
Yeah, I mean that drive. They were not able to get as close ever since that fumble. Yeah. They didn't put up any points in the second half, and that says a lot to it. How about this though? When you talk about the run defense putting itself together, Eagles ran for 18 yards on 12 carries on runs between the tackles. They averaged 1.5 yards per carry on the night, according to NFL Pro.
See, there you go. That's the front office telling you that. They'll go get Kenny Clark and we'll stop the run game.
Yeah, I mean, if we go back and watch it, though, I'm sure a lot of the runs, they're bouncing to the edge there.
Well, it's like, to me, though, it seemed like they were trying to show, and I'll watch the game here in about 5 hours, but they got into a situation where they play that slant front, and they were playing on Philadelphia's side of the line of scrimmage. And that's even with Landon Dickerson and those guys in there.
Yeah.
They did a nice job once the weather delay went past.
All right, a lot more to come. Dallas Cowboys football will continue here in just a moment.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
good. Just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Hold everything. Snap to Hurts, 3rd and 7. Here comes Sam Williams chasing. And here comes Murray. And the pass is out to the 30, and he's gang tackled short of the first down, and the Cowboys are going to get the football back. It was Dotson who caught it on a little stop route. Elam did a great job, as you said, and then a really good job by Bland to come over.
There it was. That was our stop of the game. They forced a quick 3-and-out, got the ball back with 1:41 to play, and then unfortunately weren't able to do much with it there for the Cowboys. As our stop of the game brought to you by WinStar, is the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. WinStar delivers thrills worthy of America's team. With over 10,000 of your favorite electronic games, the 2-story WinStar Spa and Cascades, their luxury pool complex. WinStar is a world of wow. Please game responsibly. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Bryan Broaddus. Let's try and get a phone call in here. I know you've been waiting patiently, and we have had a quick post-game show with all the moving and shaking. Let's go out to Walt in Waco. Walt, what's going on, man?
Brian, Zach, you guys should be home now, and I should be asleep. This is eating into my Buffalo Trace budget. But, hey, what a great game. They did everything they could to give us this game. It's unfortunate that we didn't take advantage of it. That is one of the best Dak Prescotts that I've seen. I thought it was a very well-coached game. I agree, Broaddus. There are no moral victories.
Hell
but
no.
I hate to say this, but I hope that is the best NFL team this year, or at least this week that we just played. And I really hope that's the Dallas Cowboys that we're going to see the rest of the season, except for the fact that we literally dropped the ball. But, hey, CeeDee, he's not going to do that every week, but that's his moment. He needs to take advantage of his moment. If he wants his you got mossed moment, that was it right there. Show us that, CeeDee, and we will win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. You guys take care.
Take care, Walt, and enjoy the beverages, my man, after this 24-20 loss. But, yeah, it was – CeeDee certainly had his chances. And in credit, I mean, Dak and, Chip also made the same point earlier. They did go to their best players.
Yeah.
And they gave CeeDee an opportunity to go win the game for them. Unfortunately, he came up short. And I know he's going to be eating himself alive, but – that's the nature of the beast, man. You got to go out there and make the plays. All right, we got about a minute or less here. Let's go to Scott in Jersey. Scott, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I just want to say, of course, I'm upset about the loss, but I am encouraged. Dak looked like he was back to his 2023 MVP self. And, yes, of course, he dropped a couple passes, but he's going to bounce back. What I want to ask you is, the run defense looked a lot better than I was expecting tonight. Do you think that was Kenny Clark, or is that Eberflus just scheming? Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the call, Scott.
I think it's a little both, and I don't mean to ride the fence, but I think all along we believed that this, and we watched the tape, it's going to be slant front. It's going to be movement front. They attacked angles and gaps, and they got better fits. And when they were able to get better fits, you saw it. When they were bad initially, it was guys out of place. When they were good, it was guys in place. So I think a lot of it had to do with scheme, and a lot of it had to do with the personnel and the way they played the front.
24-20 Cowboys fall in Philadelphia. They are 0-1 now on the year. Eagles improving to 1-0. We'll put a bow on this one. Look ahead to the Giants. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Window Nation, the star of window replacement and proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, can help you fill your house this season with savings. Right now, get 50% off all styles of windows and make no payments with no interest for 24 months. Fill your home with energy-efficient windows for a customized, authentic Dallas Cowboys jersey, and you can even help fill the Cowboys house and win tickets to a game. Call 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com/Cowboys now for details. Window Nation, proud partner of your Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys fans know a thing or two about legacy, commitment, and loyalty. That's why Kohler is our proud partner. With more than 150 years of craftsmanship, leading-edge design, and innovation, Kohler kitchen and bathroom products stand out and stand the test of time, just like our Cowboys. Experience the Kohler difference firsthand at either the Kohler store in Dallas or in Plano. and visit Kohler.com now.
Tom,
your Dallas Cowboys. Ford, your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Snap goes to Prescott. Handoff. Williams up the middle. Plowing for the touchdown. I guess Javonte Williams will be okay.
There he is. That's our player of the game, Javonte Williams, who did have the 2 rushing touchdowns for the Cowboys today. The only 2 touchdowns they had. 15 carries, 54 yards for Javonte. And with those 2 rushing touchdowns tonight, he was the first Cowboy since 1987. Kelvin Edwards to have multiple rushing touchdowns in his Cowboys debut. He is just the 4th Cowboy to do so, joining Kelvin Edwards, Herschel Walker, and Jim Doran.
Oh, good old Jim Doran.
Jim Doran. Pretty awesome there for look. Javonte Williams showed me something that I didn't know. I didn't know what to expect from him.
A lot of power.
A lot
of power. Sean Payton tried to tell me. He goes, listen. I go, hey, I don't see it. I don't see this. He goes, no, man. He's the 2nd year coming off his that knee injury and stuff. Give him a chance. And I'm like, okay. But I saw a lot more power tonight. His ability to take the ball, hit the hole, and to finish the runs the way he did, if he continues to play like that, that's a pretty darn good little deal right there you got for him.
Yeah, solid player without question. And look, the offensive line, I thought the 3 in the middle, that's exciting.
Yeah.
What you got there with Smith, Beebe, and then Tyler Booker. We'll go back and watch how the tackles played with Guyton and Steele. I felt like the first half was pretty strong from Tyler Guyton. Certainly the last couple of offensive drives, they were trying to do some maybe some screens, and the offensive line seemed to break. Well, we got to go back and check out maybe what Vic Fangio was doing there. But all in all, Jalen Hurts' legs killed you, the drops killed you, and the 1 fumble. And I mean that's just the margin of error is so small in the National Football League. You've got to make the most of your opportunities. Unfortunately, the Cowboys did not today, and they're 0-1.
They are 0-1. That could have been one of those games, a division game on the road. You win this, it's like winning 2. So it's no moral victories. I've said it a bunch tonight. You got to get ready for the Giants. Another division game coming up at AT&T Stadium. Find a way to get back on the winning ways. But man, you're going to look back at this one when you fly home and watch the tape. You're going to go, wow, we let this one get away, and it very well could have been a victory for you on opening night.
Yeah, I mean, you hold Saquon Barkley to 60 yards rushing.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown has 1 catch and get a single target till the final drive. Devontae Smith 3 for 16. Dallas Goedert 7 for 44. He was probably the top target. Jahan Dotson had that 51-yard catch. Otherwise, I mean, you did a good job. Like the big play, the explosive plays, you held that down. A lot to like. Unfortunately, he didn't come out with the W. And as you mentioned, we'll have the pregame show September 14th, Sunday, from AT&T Stadium, the Miller Lite West Plaza on 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
And then, of course, we will go ahead and have the game at noon. Postgame will rock until 6 p.m. from the Miller Lite Field Club there at AT&T Stadium. Big thank you, of course, to Peyton Russell, doing an excellent job. Ross Lubinsky, Kevin Walker, Tim Collins, Gavin Spittle, of course, you. And Bryan Broaddus, you'll have to get up, watch the tape early, and you'll be able to educate us tomorrow.
Yeah,
I guess later in a couple hours.
About 5 hours. I'll be watching that tape.
Just a few hours. Cowboys lose 24-20 on the road to open the season, and it's the Giants, the Bears, and then the Packers. That game against Micah Parsons, welcoming him back to AT&T Stadium. Until then, we'll see you on the 14th. Have a wonderful weekend, and Dallas Cowboys football will continue here in just a moment.
The ultimate getaway for Cowboys fans, it's waiting in the Bahamas. Trade the field for white sands, the crowd noise for ocean breezes, and discover paradise in Nassau, Exuma, or the Out Islands. There's a perfect play for every fan. Score exclusive travel deals, luxurious resorts, and that signature Bahamian hospitality. Don't wait for the snap. Visit Bahamas.com/Cowboys and book your dream vacation today. Brought